Hello, everybody. Our parsha famously opens with the statement "Ha'azinu hashamayim va'adabera v'tishma ha'aretz imrei fi." The words "Ha'azinu" and "v'tishma" apparently, on the surface, mean the same thing: to hear or to listen. But yet we know that there are nuances of difference in the selection of varying Hebrew words. And in fact, ha'azinu and v'tishma do not mean exactly the same thing. Ha'azinu suggests that a person is active and makes an effort to hear. He is a miyazem. He takes initiative. He takes action. V'tishma is someone that is more passive, and the ear hears the sound from another source. Therefore, ha'azinu is put in the form of a command, ha'azinu, and v'tishma is not. It doesn't say v'ushma. It says v'tishma. It is descriptive. Even, says the Abarbanel, if it is bal korcho, if a person doesn't want to hear it, if your neighbor is playing music at a very high volume, you will hear that music whether you want to or not. But the small, still voice you will not hear unless you seek it out and make the effort to be ma'azin. And therefore the Ibn Ezra tells us that ha'azinu comes from the language of hatu ozen. Hearken your ear, bend your ear, be active to hear the sound. It is an imperative. It's a command. We have to be ma'azinim, proactive, to hear the will and the word of Hashem, and not only reactive. We have to bend our ear to be more sensitive, to hear the subtle cry of someone else who is wanting, who is in pain, who is hurting, who is suffering. To be more sensitive, to hear the pain and the anguish of our fellow Jews in light of what we as a nation have been going through. As the Netziv puts it, Ha'azinu hashamayim, those who fulfill that mandate, are the mashpi'im. They are those who influence others. And those who are b'bchinat v'tishma ha'aretz, they simply passively hear. They are the influenced, the mushpa'im. They are not the leaders. They are not the role models. The Sifri famously contrasts the pasuk of our parsha with the famous words of Isaiah in the Haftorah of Shabbat Chazon. Moshe Amar Ha'azinu Hashamayim V'tishma Ha'aretz. And Yeshayahu states, Shim'u Shamayim V'ha'azini Aretz. There are several differences, but the first of them is Moshe's call is first Ha'azinu and then V'tishma, whereas Yeshayahu starts with Shim'u and then V'ha'azini. One of the answers that the Medrash gives is Lafisha Moshe Haya Karov LaShamayim V'rachok Me'aretz. Compared to any other Navi, Moshe was closer to the heavens, to understanding what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants of us, because he was first and foremost b'vechinat ha'azana, to proactively listen, to seek out that sound, the voice of God, the voice of those on the distaff side of life, even in comparison to the great Navi Yeshayahu, who was relative to Moshe, closer to earth, and first and foremost, relatively speaking, is bivechinat shmiyah rather than ha'azana. I start with myself. We all have to ask ourselves, have we been ma'azinim or have we been shom'in? After the shofar is blown during Chazarat Hashatz, 3 times each day on Rosh Hashanah, we recite the paragraph Areshet Sfatenu. May the words and expressions of our lips, of what we say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, are calling out to Him, are crying out to Him, may it be accepted. Because we know that God, and here's how we describe Him, Mevin Uma'azin. He understands our plight and therefore makes the effort to be Ma'azin, and only thereafter, Mabit Umakshiv. We have to be Bivchinat Ha'azinu, a Ma'azin, someone who is sensitive to the needs of other people, to the pain and the suffering, and to the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so that we can be better, so that we can do better in the new year. And b'schut zeh, may HaKadosh Baruch Hu redouble His efforts to accept our prayers l'tova and to heal all that ails us personally and collectively. Shabbat Shalom.